Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Trant. Welcome back to the channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome. This is Outer Snail Productions, and specifically, I'm going to be talking about our podcasts and playlists, the corner of the channel that we've called Independence for Unity. So, I'm here to talk about why did we start this? What is this idea behind Independence for Unity? And when I say independent, what I'm referring to is someone's politics. It can be an array of mindsets. People who see themselves as individuals with their own thoughts and ideas that don't fit perfectly wedged into a rigid red or blue box. Or it can be people who can relate to good and bad ideas regardless of which side they've come from. People that are just tired of the ineffective, dysfunctional partisan government we have. Or maybe someone who just doesn't like to be labeled like me. I hate that shit. I'm not someone whose sense of self can be dumbed down into one tribe or another. Regardless of how you want to, label or not label yourself, what we're concerned with is the divisiveness and the growing divide that we see in America and really, to be honest with you, around the globe, just in humanity as a whole. We're concerned that we've forgotten the warnings laid out numerous times throughout our history. And I'm not a religious person, but I've found biblical passages referencing this. The early Federalist Papers talk about it. Lincoln's got a whole speech referred to as the House Divided speech. And I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other sources throughout history that warns us how a house divided cannot stand. And this goes beyond us in the US securing our country against foreign and domestic tyranny, but also as we counter other threats just against humanity, like natural disasters, hunger, poverty, disease. To that end, we feel that the current party structure in America is a driving force behind this divide. They've become entrenched and have taken advantage of our primal instincts to find safety within a tribe, to blindly follow leaders by faith alone, to fear being thrown out, to distrust people from the other side, to distrust people outside the group, reducing everything to a simple game of win or lose and us versus them, regardless of the fact that almost half the people in this country represent the other side. And while, yes, I recognize there are benefits to having a national organization, the pitfalls that the parties have exposed us to far outweighs them. And the power they've given themselves makes it difficult, if not impossible, to oppose them. Now, I would suspect that most people running for office have good intentions of doing right by their constituents. But once they're there, they're under intense pressure to toe the party line or risk being subverted in future election, risk being primaried. They're pressured to put party over people. They're pressured to put party over many of the values that their constituents have. And yes, they're pressured to put party over the Constitution that outlines our republic. Our forefathers didn't establish our country in order to create two parties that we all have to get wedged into. If they had, they would have written that structure into the Constitution. What they did structure the government around was an ability to establish written law, govern by the rule of law, and amend that law as necessary as humanity and technology and society evolved. What they did structure the government into was three separate yet equal branches, so no one group of people had ultimate power and control over the others. They designed it with a separation of powers so that each leg of the system provides a check and balance on the others. So let me ask you this. How the fuck are we supposed to maintain a balance of powers if the current party system prioritizes grabbing control and influence over all three at all costs? And then to make it even worse, not only are they susceptible to sociopaths abusing the party's power to benefit themselves over the rest of us, but when they don't have a majority in both houses of Congress and the administration, they bring the entire government to a standstill, a quagmire, and waste a whole lot of time and money nitpicking over details, smearing the other side, playing games on who can be the biggest fucking mean girl, and and voting with an eye on the next election instead of doing their fucking jobs. I just watched last week's, I'm going to make a video of this when I'm done with this one. I just watched last week's first subcommittee on Doge, delivering on government efficiency initiatives. Regardless of how you feel about the intentions of the people sitting on that committee, it was a fucking shit show. A complete waste of my and the witnesses' time. It was 2 hours of fucking grandstanding bullshit, except for two people who I'm going to talk about. So, anyway, back to the forefathers. Just as they debated back in the day, as they worked together to write the first version of our country's founding documents, I'm pretty fucking sure that they would expect us to have dialogue and debate and work together to establish new laws and agencies necessary to meet the problems we face today. The ability to do this effectively requires patience. It requires an understanding that anything man-made is likely flawed and thus can be improved over time. The ability to do this effectively requires a willingness to accept that your strongly held beliefs may be best for you, but may not be best for everyone else. The ability to do this effectively requires dialogue and compromise. The current party system doesn't have room for dialogue and compromise, at least not for anything that isn't already easy to agree on, like if we have evidence that UFOs exist. Okay, that's a fucking easy one. We all want to know if we're on track to join the Federation. And I'm telling you right now, there's no fucking way they would let us in.
A deeply troubled world. Social, political, military problems that they have yet to resolve are driven by suspicion, deviousness, and paranoia. That they are not ready for membership. Now.
All right, we're like one of those planets that the Voyager crew can't wait to get behind them. Love a good Star Trek reference. Anyway, so who the fuck am I to address this? I'm not a political science major. I don't have a degree in law. My undergrad was in aerospace engineering and I have a systems engineering master's. I don't claim to have all the answers. But what I will claim is that I don't think you need a political science background to recognize that our current system is broken. And who's there to fix it but us in the middle? The fringes have had over 200 years, and look where they've gotten us. And it's obvious that it's not getting better. It's getting fucking worse. It's kind of like a disease. The system we have is making us sick. The divisiveness we're experiencing is a symptom. And the immune system that our forefathers put in place is not effective in curing the disease. The parties are not a simple virus like the common cold. The parties are fucking cancer. I know if you wanted to hear it again, you could just hit that little like back 10 seconds button on the viewer. But I'm just going to say it again. The political parties in their current form are fucking cancer. So now what? I like the cancer analogy because we don't have some silver bullet miracle cure. Cancer is a difficult, varied problem to fix, and so is this. There's a myriad of advancements that we've made addressing it. Prevention through like HPV vaccines, educating people to avoid the risks like cigarette pack warnings, targeted treatments for certain types, like I don't know, skin cancer treatment or whatever else. Thankfully, I haven't had any. All of these things on their own don't cure all of cancer outright, but considering them all together, we're making progress. The sum whole of everything we're doing, we're steadily making progress in our fight against cancer. That's the approach that we're taking with Independence for Unity. We're going to look for ways to help make incremental gains in healing this division, to educate people on what targeted solutions we can all apply to help fix a part of the problem, to promote dialogue and compromise as a virtue as we do that. Some core tenets of Independence for Unity. Compromise is a virtue. We are all human beings. Policies and rhetoric that continue to divide us will at best just waste time and money, and at worst could lead to our demise as a species. Feelings aren't facts. Solutions to our problems need to be based on evidence, verifiable information, and expert consensus. In the face of new evidence, people's opinions can change and should change if expert consensus tells us that the evidence points us in a new direction. Anything made by mankind can be changed by mankind. It's not natural law. It's not fucking gravity. Anything man made is likely flawed, and not only can be, but should be continuously improved over time. No solution is perfect, but we should be working to get as close as we can. The problems we face may be incredibly hard, but solutions exist. The only thing preventing us from developing them is the lack of will to do so. Society's problems are complex, and thus the solutions likely are as well. Competing ideas and the struggle to develop them can't be dumbed down to a simple sporting analogy of one side's ideas win over the others. With that, this video has kind of gone on long enough, so I'm going to end it here. I appreciate you listening all the way through to the end, and I hope you'll consider joining us as we start to do this work. I'll be posting some shorts along the way, just as we discuss problems and solutions. I'll be putting those out on the channel like I have been in the community posts, so please check those out when I drop them. And of course, if you like the cause, please become engaged, subscribe to the channel, shoot us a note, let us know if you have anything that you'd like to add or any inputs that you have for us. We appreciate it. So thanks for stopping in. Hope to see you again soon.